Oh God, you know better than that, Doc. Now this is what I'm talking about. When you have very intelligent brothers who are popular in the media, well-educated dudes who know better, and it's a very alarming signal that goes off in my head when I know somebody who's smarter than me, who has a very expanded vocabulary and education, and they're doing something or they're either pushing something that's just flat out ignorance. And that's what Michael Eric Dyson is doing once again. Kind of like when he backed up Colin Kaepernick and took his side with the whole, taking a knee thing and acknowledged that the NFL blackballed him. And then he does this book about Jay-Z. And then when Jay-Z signs with the NFL, Michael Eric Dyson was compromised, didn't know what to say, and was on First Take, throwing out random words and talking in circles for 15 minutes because he couldn't go against Jay-Z because he just did a book with him. He loves him, but he couldn't go against Cap either. He was compromised. And he's been doing a pattern of shaky behavior lately. It's kind of like when Lamont Hill endorsed that white lady on MSNBC who claimed she said niggers, or we clearly heard her say niggers. It's like, come on, dude, stop playing dumb. Stop pushing propaganda. Stop trying to fucking push false narratives and fucking, you know, putting shit in people's heads. And I just seen it yesterday. Michael Eric Dyson is endorsing Joe Biden because he knows he has a cult following and a lot of black people look up to him. And he's telling black people, you need to vote for Joe Biden. And I'm like, no, dog, like, that's not the move. Listen to this shit.
Good day, my fellow American citizens. I, Michael Eric Dyson, am endorsing Vice President Joe Biden as the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America. I think that Senator Biden, given his extraordinary history, I think Vice President Biden, given his extraordinary service, will make a tremendous president for these United States.
Keyword, Vice President Biden.
Of America. This man has been on the front lines for the last 40 some odd years, making certain that justice, truth, and democracy are our share, making certain that those who are most vulnerable will be spoken up for, making certain that those with the greatest needs are to be addressed. He has been a fierce advocate of the downtrodden. He has been an extraordinary advocate for those who need help, and he has given his service completely in utter devotion to those principles that we all cherish. Like any other figure, of course, he has made mistakes, and I'm cognizant of and conscious of those mistakes. But nothing he has done could in any way argue against his valorous service, can in any way undercut and undermine his fitness for office to be the standard bearer for American democracy in our day and age.
All right, fuck out of here with that. But the key word, now you see the butter biscuits, the buck dancing, the shoe shining, the key word, the key term, whatever, vice president. So what they're doing, and I've seen a lot of black people already getting caught up in it with familiarity. A lot of black people are going to vote for Joe Biden, sadly, just based off familiarity because he was the vice president when Obama was in office. And that's what they're pushing. When he says vice president, that's what he's getting at. It's the same mistake that we kind of did with Al Gore back when Clinton, because Al Gore was Clinton's vice president. A lot of black people who didn't really understand his policies or didn't care to even educate themselves automatically assume, well, Al Gore was Bill's man. We gonna vote for him because we love Bill. And if you think Joe Biden is a good candidate just based off Obama, you haven't done your research. Look at first of all, he's 78 years old. Okay, he's got about maybe 10 years on Trump. Is he even going to make it through a 4-year run if he does get in office? You know what I mean? He was a legislator and a U.S. senator years and years ago. He's been doing politics for 40 fucking years. Very dirty motherfucker. Okay, he was a big reason why mass incarceration was pushed heavily in the 90s. Matter of fact, in 1994, he pushed a mass incarceration bill, had half of them motherfuckers in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, the whole state locked up left and right. As a matter of fact, you could listen to one of his clips when in 1994 when he was pushing for the shit.
We must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malfactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they've become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, try to change their behavior. That's why we do in this bill. We have drug treatment and we have other treatments to try to deal with it. But they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist. And we must deal with that. And I think there's a consensus among Republicans in that. Old barbed wire Republican conservatives just want to hang them high. Even those folks are saying, hey, we got to deal with the root cause of this. Not one or the other, but separately.
Yeah, that's the guy you want to vote for, the father of mass incarceration. Do your fucking research. Don't go to these voting polls blindly and just vote for people just for the fucking, because they represent a party that your family has been representing for years. Trust me, I've been there, I've done it. I used to go vote and I didn't know fucking shit about policies or politics. I would just vote Democrat and I would go in there like an idiot and just be clicking Democrat, 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 Democrat. Don't do that. I'm telling you from experience. Do your research if you're going to bother standing in line for 30 minutes to an hour and actually vote for someone whose policies identify with you and what you want to get done as a person or whatever, community. Don't just go out there voting just because. And a lot of people make that mistake. I've done it. Some people are still making those mistakes. They're going to vote for him just because he was with Obama. And if you do your research and you see how much of a fucking clown Joe Biden is, it'll kind of make you, even the biggest Obama supporter, I think, if they really did their research on Joey, it would make them look at Obama differently, if we being real. So, like I said, me personally, I'm not gonna tell nobody who to vote for. I personally don't think black people, we don't need to depend on politics to fix our shit. We need to do what the Asians do. They're the only ethnic group for the most part that doesn't depend on the government or politics, aka white people, to do anything for them. They clean up, they fix their own communities, they run their own businesses, they do everything on their own. That's what we need to do. Because if we've been here 400 fucking years and the people that put they foot on our neck, is, if you think they gonna fucking do anything for us, you're fucking, that wishful thinking is ridiculous at this point. The conditions for us have not really changed that much at all, no matter who has been in office, Democrat or Republican. So the fact that you got black people out here still thinking that their vote is gonna, come on, that's a whole nother discussion. But like I say, people sometimes get pressured into voting. Vote or die. Your grandma and them say, you better vote. Your auntie and them march for you to vote. You better vote. And, niggas go down there and vote just for the fuck of it, not knowing who the fuck they voting for. So I say, don't make that mistake and just vote for Joseph Biden just because your mom's told you or your girl or your, do your fucking research. And if you choose Bernie Sanders or then whoever, anybody, I don't really give a fuck who you vote for. But I'm like, don't make this mistake. And like I said, I'm disappointed with people because Michael Larry Dyson, you know better than that, Doc. The check obviously cleared. It didn't bounce. How much was the check? How much did the Biden campaign pay you? Because we know Bernie Sanders definitely cut Chuck D a good check. He was willing to kick Flavor Flav out for the group for that shit. I mean, this money is powerful that they throwing around here. The zeros is fucking hidden. But yeah, man, Michael Eric Dyson, man, shame on you, man. He should get donkey of the day. I'm out.